And welcome back to some more Arkham Horror playthrough. This is going to be taking on the finale of the core box, the revised core box. We are going to be taking on scenario 3, which is the Devourer Below. And yeah, we are going along with Roland and Wendy Adams, and hopefully seeing how far we can get. Fingers crossed it'll be a pretty good one. I think we did decently well the last scenario. Definitely a lot better than the first time I played it with my girlfriend. So hopefully this is going to be the same thing. We ended up getting 4 of the cultists in scenario 2, so that'll make this a little bit easier. And I did make a little bit mistake at the end of the last video. I shouldn't have read the result 2. I should have read result 1 because we did resign with the cultists. We didn't actually run out of the agenda card, so we didn't have to check off that it is midnight. So I've got the game already set up here, and because we earned a 5 experience in the last scenario, I did do a couple of upgrades on our decks. So for Roland, I ended up taking 2 copies of Ever Vigilant, which is going to hopefully help us a little bit, as it'll maybe help us speed up our asset play, because I realize he has quite a few assets in his deck, so we can get those out a little bit quicker. And then I also purchased with 3 experience the Charisma permanent card. So this actually does not count towards our deck, but it does allow us to have an additional ally slot, which is nice because having potentially Guard Dog plus Beat Cop, or maybe both copies out at the same time, could be extremely useful. And this actually just starts out in play right away, so we don't have to worry about that. And then for Wendy, we have 2 copies of Lucky that I upgraded, which essentially will allow us to draw a card in addition to its previous effect. Again, just speeding up our resources and spending less actions drawing cards and things like that, because I do remember, from what I remember, the 3rd scenario is pretty much on a time crunch, so we definitely want to go as fast as possible. And then I also purchased with my last experience point a copy of Devil's Luck, which we can actually play it as fast, and it'll essentially help us just get rid of a big hit that we're about to take. Just in case something goes wrong, we can essentially just cancel up a ton of damage that could potentially hit Wendy, because Wendy's going to be running around trying to get clues for us for the most part. So that is going to be our deck. Again, we also have Lita Chandler that we did save in scenario 1, so Lita Chandler is in Roland Banks' deck. Roland Banks is, of course, going to be the lead investigator as well. We've got everything set up, so let us just dive in and read the intro to the scenario. So this is the Devourer Below. After a frantic nighttime search through Arkham, you have tracked down and questioned several members of the cult. Your findings are disturbing. They claim to worship a being known as Umurthoth. Umurthoth, a monstrous entity from another realm. You are able to confirm much of Lita's story. The cult is agitated over the destruction of a ghoul lair. However, a surprising detail also turns up. The one who invaded the lair and set this night's event in motion was none other than Lita Chandler herself. You are not sure why this important detail was omitted from Lita's story. Did she tell you only as much as was necessary to draw you into her conflict? But in another light, she seems to be fighting to protect the city of Arkham from a terrible menace. The final piece of the puzzle was found written in a journal possessed by one of the cultists. It describes a dark ritual to be performed deep within the woods south of Arkham this very night. According to the journal, the ritual's completion will open a gate and bring forth the cult's dark master into this world. If the cult is not stopped, Lita warns, there's a possibility that Umurthoth's vengeance will consume all in its path. Frightened, but determined to stop the ritual, you head into the woods. Now, the game's already set up. With these Arkham Woods locations, though, there was actually the possibility of two other ones that are set aside, because there's 6 total. You draw 4 of them randomly and set them all along the main path, which is where the investigators start. Additionally, in the encounter deck, there is actually one of 4 different set of monsters or treachery cards that could be added into the deck, and we randomly picked one of those. I can't remember which one we got, but I'm sure we will find out. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle my upgraded cards back into my player deck. So we're going to draw 5 cards, and then we'll begin the game. All right, welcome back. We have everything all set up here, and now let us check out the agenda card, as well as, because we did not get all of the cultists. There was 2 cultists left. We do have to start with a doom on the agenda card, but let's read the agenda and the act card. The Arkham Woods. From interrogating members of the conspiracy within Arkham, you have learned that they are performing a rite of vengeance in response to the destruction of one of their master's lairs. You have entered the woods outside of Arkham to try to stop them. The woods seem unnaturally cold and filled with a deathly silence. And there's 1 doom starting on that out of 4. And then for the act card, we have Investigating the Trail. The evidence you've gathered has led you to the woods south of Arkham, where you believe a ritual to summon a being called Umurtoth is about to take place. Steeling your resolve, you set forth deeper into the woods, hoping to find the site of the ritual. And we need 6 clues total to actually progress that act card. So let us see what we drew. For Roland, we drew our Ever Vigilant, nice. We drew Overpower, we drew Beat Cop, Working a Hunch, and another Working the Hunch. Let's also flip over Main Path. There's no clues, but we do have 2 Shroud on it. The main path is connected to each other, to each other woods location, and we can also resign from this location to run away. Good to know. Alrighty. I don't think... let's also get... I keep forgetting resources at the start. Let's get our resources into play. I don't know if I need Working a Hunch. I definitely want to look for a weapon. I think we will get rid of Overpower and one of my Working the Hunches. I wouldn't mind keeping 1 because that could get us an early clue. So let's set those 2 aside and draw 2 cards. We got Resource Cache and Machete. Perfect. We did get a weapon, and it's another asset. So let's shuffle these back into the deck. And we will draw... well, not draw. We'll see what we get for Wendy. Hopefully we start off well. So for Wendy, we get Look What I Found. We get Elusive, Manual Dexterity, Rabbit's Foot, and Flashlight. I think these are all fine. Elusive, just in case we draw an enemy early on. I think this is a pretty great hand. No real reason I think I need to mulligan anything. So I think we're just going to flip over the main path. Sorry, flipped over. Never mind. We already did that. And let us begin. So we skip the Mythos phase. We move on to the first round for the investigators. I think we're just going to spend some turns in the main path setting up. I think, let's see, I have 2 assets. I could actually play it at 2 and 3. Yeah, I might actually just dump my hand here as Roland. So I think we're just going to, right off the bat, I don't... You know, I'm going to draw a card first because we might draw a 3rd asset that costs 1 that we could actually play with Ever Vigilant. So we're going to use 1 action to draw. Of course, I draw my weakness. So we are going to be negating 3 clue gains with Roland. Oh, and are we going to get some focusing? There we go. Sorry about the weird cut. We got our cover-up weakness, so that's going to go into our little threat area, and it has 3 clues on there, so the next 3 clues we gain are going to be negated. Well, that was a waste of an action, so let us just get stuff into play. So I'm going to spend emergency cash for 0 to get 3 more resources. 1, 2, and I need a better token holder. 3, and then for my last action, I'm going to play Ever Vigilant, which allows us to play up to 3 assets from our hand, reducing the cost of each one by 1. So Beat Cop and Machete are respectively 3 and 2, so 5 resources total rather than 7, which is pretty good discount there, and it gets us pretty well set up. We are really low on everything now, but that's okay. Cover-up really screwed us over, but that's going to be Roland's turn. So for Wendy, I think we are also going to set up as well. So let us spend 2 resources to get Flashlight into play, as well as spend another 1 to get Rabbit's Foot into play. And then I think we're going to spend our last resource just to draw a card. I don't think I want to explore anywhere just yet, because I think we'll stick together. So yeah, let's draw a card and get some things back. So we do Waylay, that's going to be good. We got Elusive, so that can potentially help us disengage with some enemies and then waylay them, which is nice. Or actually, no, it's just disengage. It's not evade an enemy, which I think is the thing that exhausts them. But still, it gives us a way to get rid of enemies if we need to. All right, there's no enemies, so it is going to be a resource each for our investigators. Each draw a card. We get Unexpected Courage for Wendy. That's pretty good. And then for Roland, we get Guard Dog. Oh, if only we had that earlier, we could have played Oh, actually, no. Yeah, we could have had, because of our charisma, we could have had beat cop, guard dog, and machete with one card played with the ever vigilant. Oof, missed opportunity. That's okay. All right, so that is going to be it. Also, I should have flipped these over, but that's okay. All right, we're starting a new round, so then a Doom Tracker goes on to here. We draw on a counter card for Roland. We get Mysterious Mysterious Chanting. Place 2 Doom on the nearest cultist enemy, but there are none, so we do have to search one from the deck. And then, yeah, search the encounter deck and discard power for a cultist enemy and draw it. That is all right. It's not the worst thing. So we draw. Oop. Then we shuffle the encounter deck. Okay, so we don't discard until we find one, which is pretty good because we actually had this as the next card, which is the Relentless Dark Young, which is one of the stronger enemies. So let us search just top down for the next one. All right, the second card was going to be a cultist, so that's going to be engaged with, or actually no, this spawns at an empty location. So we'll just put it in the Arkham Woods to the left here, and a Doom does go on that card. And then we're just going to make sure to shuffle the encounter deck. All right, that's going to be the turn for Roland. Now it's Wendy's encounter card, and Wendy also draws an Acolyte. That is not good because that is going to have 4 Doom total on the board. So next round, if we don't get rid of these Acolytes, they are going to progress the tracker. Now, do I want to put them in the same spot? Because with what we have, I could probably just kill them both with Roland, and if there's 2 clues here... Oh no, once per round. So let's split them up, actually. Let's put one down here. We might have Wendy go down and kill that, actually. Unfortunately, the woods don't connect to each other, but that's okay. Alright, it is going to be our turn. So let's start with Roland. Let's move down to this left Arkham Woods. So, oh, there's no clues on it. That is a bummer, but it does open up a spot that allows us to heal. So this Acolyte's going to engage with us. We're going to use our second action to fight it. And we are just going to use our machete and beat cop. That gives us +2 effectively. So we're at 6 to 3. We got a -3, but that's still luckily going to be a success. So that gets rid of that card, gets rid of that Doom Acolyte. I think we are just going... Oh, we also should have started the scenario with a mental trauma. Because of the first scenario, we burned our house down. So we do start with 1 horror. Which means I think I'm just going to use the action on this card and heal 1 horror. Why not? And then my last action... Oh, that was my last action. So that's going to end for Roland. Not a great turn, but that's okay. All right, Wendy has to pretty much go down and try to kill this Acolyte, I think, because it's going to progress Doom, because it's going to be 4 total. So we're going to go down here, and we are going to have 2 clues on this. We got another Arkham Woods. Luckily, this one does actually connect with this one, funny enough, so that works out. So there's 2 clues. This location is investigated using might rather than the skill investigators. Ooh, okay, well, Wendy's definitely not going to investigate that. But that's okay. We're here to potentially try to kill this cultist. So we have 2 actions left with Wendy. And if we actually kill... Oh, that's the wrong ones. If we actually kill this Acolyte, we could use Look What I Found if we fail and just get those 2 clues right away. Well, that's might not be a bad thing. Because we could use Unexpected Courage. I think what we're going to do is we're going to... Because since we engaged with this enemy, I think we are going to just evade... And oh man, do we use a waylay on this? Seems like a... I think we actually purposefully try to fail to use Look What I Found. But we also still need to kill this guy, which is the problem. Oh yeah, they should have... The flashlight should have 3 charges as well. Oh, let's see. I mean... Yeah, let's try to kill the enemy first, because we could actually use the flashlight, and that would make it a 0 shroud. So even the 1 might, it wouldn't be that bad, because it brings it down to 0, so it makes it an automatic success, other than the auto fail. So I think what we're gonna do, yeah, unfortunately I think we're gonna have to spend Waylay here. I'm not gonna be able to kill him by conventional means, I think. But let us just try and evade then. So we'll use our second action to evade. We're at 4 to 2. I think we'll just take that. Of course, we draw the auto fail. I'm going to discard a card. Let's discard... I don't think we're going to need elusive at the moment. So let's discard elusive and let's redraw that. Ooh, we got the tablet. So that's going to be -5 or -3. Oh, so that actually fails. And if there's a monster enemy at your location, deal 1 damage. As a humanoid, so that doesn't count. Well, I guess since we failed by 2 or less, I think this is time to play this. So we're going to use 2 clues to play Look What I Found, to discover 2 clues at your location to bypass that. At least that speeds things up because of this doom is going to progress. I mean, we still have 1 more action. Ugh. I guess I could try to use Unexpected Courage and fight at a 3 to 3, but that seems rough. Oh, also let's use Rabbit's Foot because we did fail that evasion. So let's draw a card because that might help us. We got a Dig Deep, which doesn't really help us out right now. I think we'll just try to evade again. At least preserve our health. It only does 1. Yeah, because I also bumped the difficulty up to standard. I also forgot to mention that. So the tokens are standard, I think. Actually, oh, I can't remember what I did. Did I bump up the difficulty? I don't remember. Either way, let's try to evade so we don't take damage. We got a -2. That's going to be 4 to 2. 2 to 2. So we still successfully evade. So it's going to disengage, and that's going to be our turn. Alright, we're back. Sorry for a weird cut there, and you can see it's much darker and much later in the night. My roommate came home while I was recording, so I decided to stop it, and just because she was going to be working in the kitchen and stuff like that. So, we are back. We last left off, I last left off. We just ended Wendy's turn, ending the investigator's turn, and evading this acolyte here. So we're then going to move to the enemy phase, which the enemy is just going to ready up and re-engage with Wendy when he does. But then we're going to move to upkeep. So these flip over. Yeah, the Acolyte won't attack, right? Yeah, Acolyte won't attack. Because it had to ready up. So we get a resource each. This also unexhausts the Rabbit Foot. And then we draw for Wendy. We got Wendy's Amulet. Nice. So that lets us play the top event of our discard pile. And also get event, and whenever you play an event or discard an event from play, you got to put it on the bottom of our deck instead of the discard pile. Unfortunately, we already have Rabbit's Foot. And that's pretty good, but I think Wendy's Amulet might be a little bit more useful. Let us reuse our stuff. And for Roland, we get to draw our machete, or another machete. We don't really need another one, so we can use this to commit. We definitely need more cards with Roland, though, that's for sure. Alright, let us go to the Mythos phase. So we get a Doom on the tracker. That is going to trigger, unfortunately, because there's 1 Doom here and 3 Doom on the card. Pretty far behind, unfortunately, so this is going to flip. And this Doom also gets going. Throughout the woods, a shrieking cry echoes. From somewhere deeper in the forest, a score of hideous voices answers the call, inhuman as the baying of hounds, and yet articulate, repeating a singular name. Umerdhoth, Umerdhoth, Umerdhoth. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and discard cards until a monstered enemy is discarded. Spawn that at the main path, then place 1 Doom on that enemy. Alrighty, and next up is the Ritual begins. Umerdhoth, Umerdhoth, Umerdhoth. The chanting builds in intensity, echoing into the cold air of the night. The sparse clouds in the sky coalesce above the Arkham Woods, blotting out the faint light of the stars. Each enemy gets +1 fight and +1 evade. That's going to be really bad for Wendy. So we have to shuffle the discard pile and encounter deck, and then place a monster onto the main path, and put a Doom on it. Alright, we ended up discarding getting a goat spawn who has Hunter, Retaliate, and when it's defeated, each investigator at this location takes 1 horror. Yikes, and so it's a 4/3/3 enemy right now. Ooh, we are not in a good spot. We're falling behind already quite a bit. And especially when Roland can't even get any clues thanks to his weakness, we're in a lot of trouble. And we haven't even drawn the freaking encounter cards for our characters yet. Alright, Roland gets Dissonant Voices, so he can't play events or assets for the round. And for Wendy, we get Rotting Remains, testing with willpower, which is one of her better stats, I guess. I don't think we're going to commit anything. I think we're going to need all the horror we can get, but I don't think I want to get rid of anything, to be honest. So I think we'll just take the 4/3. Nice, we get our bonus. Our amulet's not in play anyways, but it's still just going to be a 0, so at least we succeed there. Now, what do we want to do on our turn? I mean, we really have to kill that goat spawn. There's no more clues on this. Considering this guy doesn't have any Doom on him anymore, and there's no clues here, I think we're not gonna worry about him. I think we're gonna try to get to yeah, I think we're gonna try to get to the other Arkham Woods. And this guy here is really, really annoying. Because it'd be nice if we could get Roland somewhere where this goat spawn will follow him into the location. But, I mean, Roland can't get any clues anyways. Alright, Wendy, you're on clue duty. I guess we'll just have to evade this Acolyte and disengage. Now, this is not an elite enemy, so we could potentially kill it with Wendy, but it's going to be pretty difficult. Alright, well, either way, I think we're going to try to evade this guy. We definitely want to try to do it, so I'm going to commit a manual dexterity, so that puts us at 6/3. And of course we draw the auto fail. So I am going to discard Dig Deep to redraw with Wendy's ability. And we get a -1, so that's going to be a success. So this is going to disengage. We're going to use our second movement to move into the... Yeah, we're going to use our second movement to move into the main area because unfortunately we can't move anywhere else. We could go to this Arkham Woods, but that doesn't really change anything. I guess I could go here and draw a card and just let Roland move into here first to try to deal with the goat spawn. Yeah, it might not be a bad idea, just to get out of this area. Yeah, let's move here with our second action, and then for our third action, I think we're just going to... I think we are going to get Wendy's amulet into play. So we're going to pay 2 and get rid of the rabbit's foot and get Wendy's amulet into play. And that's going to be Wendy's turn. So yeah, I think we're just going to go and try and fight. Oh, if we were only able to play another asset. Stupid Dissonant Voices, because we could get our other guard dog into play. But even with just that, we could potentially kill the goat spawn. It's at 4. We're going to be fighting 6/4. Yeah, I'll take that. All right. We'll go fight the goat spawn. The goat spawn's going to engage with Roland. We are going to fight with our machete. Since it's the only enemy engaged, we get an extra damage. I am going to commit my other machete to that, because the other machete, I think, is not going to be used for anything else. So we're fighting 7 to 4. And we draw a skull, which means -X, where X is the number of monster enemies in play. There's only 1, so it's just a -1. So it's still going to hit. It's going to be 3 damage. 2 damage on the goat spawn. And we're going to use our second, or our last action to fight again. I don't have anything I can commit to it, but that's okay. Hopefully we can get this last hit off. We got a -1. That is going to be a success because it's 6 to 4 naturally with our machete and beat cop. So that is going to kill the ghoul spawn, getting rid of this doom. Whew, thank goodness. That is going to be both of our turns. Not much getting done there, unfortunately, but we dealt with a big threat, so that's okay. Alright, that is going to be our turn. This enemy is just going to ready up. Dissonant Voices is going to go away. We're going to get our resources for the round. And we get to draw a card. For Wendy, we get Lucky. Okay, that's a really, really good one. And then for Roland, we get Butterfly Swords. Okay, so we can actually get that into play and replace our machete with that. It's going to be a potentially better version. Get essentially 1 less damage off of the first attack, but we get to essentially attack twice with it. And we have enough resources to get both Guard Dog and Butterfly Swords into play, so we should be able to set up really, really well next turn. But we really got to get some clues going. Alright, so these get refreshed as well. Alright, let's go to the Mythos phase. We get a Doom on the tracker. It's a 1 out of 5. Event token for Roland. We get Grasping Hands. Testing Agility. For each point you fail, take 1 damage. Not the worst thing. We do suck at a 2 to 3, but you know, it is what it is. Oh boy, we got the Cthulhu symbol. It's a -5, and if there's an ancient one enemy in play, reveal another token. I believe modifiers can only go to 0 though, correctly, right? So that does mean we lose by 3. Oof, that's unfortunate. I didn't have anything I could commit anyways. So we take 3 damage. I think we'll put 1 on Beat Cop and 2 on ourselves. So we're at 2 out of 9. All right, and for Wendy, we get Rotting Remains. So testing willpower. For each one you fail by, take 1 horror. So it's the opposite one. But at least we're better off doing this one. So, wow, we get the skull. Luckily, that's just going to be 0, so that's going to be a success, so nothing goes on there. Alright, it's the investigator's turns. For Roland, I think we are going to go first. We're going to spend all of our resources, all 6, to get both Butterfly Swords into play, getting rid of our machete, and getting that into play because that takes 2 hands, and then getting our other asset into play, which is our Guard Dog, because we can have our other ally, because thanks to Charisma, we can have 2 allies going at once. So that's going to be pretty huge. Gets us a lot of extra health, which is what we need. So that is playing 2 cards. We still have 1 action left. We are pretty much super low on resources, so I'm thinking I'm just going to draw a card and help get set up a little bit. All right, we drew an Overpower. For Wendy, we are going to, it's going to end Roland's turn. I think we are going to move 1 here and then move 2 and go up top. We got Arkham Wood's Old House. There's going to be 2 clues on it. It's 2 shroud level. And the location investigated using willpower instead of knowledge or intellect, which is fine. Our willpower is actually better than our intellect, so that actually works out pretty well for Wendy. So there's 2 clues there. And yeah, we still need so many more clues. I mean, Wendy's going to be the only one that's going to be able to get us clues here. So that was 1, 2, and then I guess we'll use our last action using the flashlight. And we're going to knock it down to 2. Flashlight has 2 charges left. That brings the Arkham Woods thing down to a 0, meaning that we pretty much always win except for the Cthulhu token and the auto fail. So we get a 0. That's going to be a success. Let's see. I think we will. Yeah, we get the clue. Now it's going to be Wendy's turn. All right, so we're getting some things going. It's still pretty rough. Really hate this cover up, but it is what it is. This enemy is just going to chill. We're going to do upkeep. So we get our resources for the round. Draw a card for Wendy. We get emergency cash, which is nice because we need more resources for both of us. And then Roland gets heavy furs, which is just going to give us more health, but let us redraw out of some poor things. But we do need some more resources and cards. So it's not great. We're really falling behind on stuff. All right, back to the Mythos phase. We get a Doom on the tracker. We're at 2 out of 5. Encounter card for Roland. Ooh, we get one of the big boys, Relentless Dark Young. It's a monster. Because of the agenda, it's a 5/5/3. And its prey is the lowest agility, which is going to be Roland. At the end of the round, heal 2 damage. It does have a victory. Well, that spawns on top of us. I'll just put it in its threat area. For Wendy, Wendy gets an Acolyte spawned on her. So that's going to go in her threat area. That's going to spawn a Doom on top of it. And yeah, this is not looking great. Because we still are only halfway to just getting the first act card done. I mean, the Relentless Dark Young isn't elite, but now that this Acolyte's here, we're sort of locked up. Because I could do... Well, luckily Guard Dog can take quite a bit of the brunt of damage with the Relentless, and we can do quite a bit of damage, but let's first attack. Let us use our Butterfly Swords with Roland to attack the Relentless Dark Young. We get +1 from Butterfly Swords, +1 from Beat Cop. So we're at 6 to 5. I'm going to commit an Overpower. So this brings us to 8 to 5. Oh, and of course we draw the Cthulhu again. That's a -5, so that's going to be a fail. Plus, since there's an Ancient One enemy... Oh, wait. No, this isn't an Ancient One. Okay. Well, either way, that's a fail, so I wasted that Overpower. Ugh. Well, we're going to exhaust the Butterfly Swords to attack again. And we get to add our agility. So it's going to be 6 to 5. Or, sorry, 7 to 5 with the Beat Cop. It's a -1. That's going to be a success. So it's extra damage. It's 2 damage, but he's just going to end up healing this. And I guess we might as well attack with our last action. Well, actually, no, that was just our first action, right? Because we get attacked twice with this. All right, second action, we're just going to fight again. We don't have any weapon to use, so it's just going to be a 5 to 5. We get Skull. That's going to be a -1 because there's one monster enemy in place. That's going to fail. Our third action, we're going to attack again. All right, we get the 0, so that's going to be a success for 1 more damage because we don't have any weapon. But he's going to heal he's going to heal 2 off of that. Oh, that's going to be Roland's turn. All right, Wendy, you have to deal with this Acolyte somehow. I mean, we could just try... No, we can't really fight, can we? I guess we'll just have to use we can't even use Waylay. Well, I guess we can. Alright, well, let's try and evade first. We're evading 4 to 3 because it's buffed up. You get the Cultist. It's a -2. Place 1 Doom on the nearest enemy. Well, that's going to be this guy. And that does mean we fail. But I think I'm going to... Yeah, we'll play Lucky for 1. So that lets us add +2, so that turns into a success. And we also get a draw card because it's the upgraded lucky. We got another flashlight, which is useless. But that is going to disengage him. So that was just one action. Second action, we are going to play Emergency Cash to get 3 more resources. And then we're going to immediately use those 3 resources to do Waylay, which we can choose an exhausted non-elite enemy and test agility. And if we succeed, we defeat that enemy. And his agility is 3. I really need this to work, so I'm going to commit unexpected courage. So we're at 7 to 3. Or sorry, 6 to 3. We get a -1. Should have just left it, but better safe than sorry. So that is going to defeat this acolyte. But that is going to be all of our turn, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, I'm not feeling good about this. I don't think we're going to be able to do it. We might have to just run to the main path and resign, just to at least get out alive. All right, well, end of... Oh, not end of round. A monster gets to attack us. So he's going to attack us for 2 damage and 1 horror. We are going to put 1 horror onto the beat cop, and we are going to put 1 damage on guard dog, and because of that, we got to do 1 damage back to the Relentless Dark Young, and then we'll take the other damage ourselves. End of the round, we're going to refresh our character cards. We get a resource each, and we draw a card. Roland gets evidence. Oh, it's pretty useless for us because we can't get clues. And Wendy gets Lone Wolf. Okay, that can actually help us start getting some more resources, so that's actually a pretty good one. And then because of Relentless Dark Young, at the end of each round, heal 2 damage, so it goes to 2. Ugh. Well, actually... Oh, I could get rid of... I could have gotten rid of Beat Cop to do the last damage on that. Is that worth it? I mean, he's only 1 health away from dying. I would have to double check when the windows are, because it's a free action, but only at certain windows. So upkeep phase, when the upkeep phase begins. Yeah, so before the round ends, I could actually discard him to do that last damage. You know what? I am going to do that. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I'm going to retroactively say I did that and discard my Beat Cop for the last damage on him before he can heal. Because that'll give us more actions in our turn, effectively. Frees up another asset slot, so hopefully we can find another ally. Because hopefully we can find Lita, because you really need Lita. Alright, well that is going to be it for the round. So then we go to the Mythos phase. 3 out of 5 Doom on the agenda. We get Ancient Evils for Roland. That's going to place another Doom on the tracker. So we're up to 4 out of 5. And then Wendy gets another Acolyte spawns on her, which gets another Doom. So we're at 5 Doom. I mean, either way, the agenda is going to progress again. And I already know it's waiting on the other side. We essentially have 1 more round to prepare. Alright, well, let us actually help out Wendy, I think, to free her up so she can get this last clue. It's either that or I go to this Arkham Woods and hope that... Well, that doesn't matter. Roland can't get clues anyways. Shoot. I have no clue what to do. Alright, let's draw a card. We need to start looking for stuff. Alright, we got an Overpower. That's good. We're going to use our second action to... Yeah, we're going to explore this Arkham Woods. Great. That's not good. We got the Unhallowed Grounds. It's a 4 shroud. There's going to be 2 clues on it, and after you enter, you have to test willpower. If you fail, take 1 damage and 1 horror. So this is like the worst possible setup. Alright, well, let's test. We got 3 to 4. We got a 0. That's still going to be a fail, unfortunately. So we take a damage and a horror. Yeah, we'll just go up to 4 damage and 1 horror on Roland. Alright, we drew a card, we moved, and I guess we'll just draw another card and just try to set up. There's not much else we can do. Yeah, because we can't even... Oh, that should be a 1. We can't even get clues from there. Because I could use working a hunch, but it would just get rid of 1 cover-up, and we need to get those clues with Wendy. So let's just draw a card for our last one. Alright, we got our 45 automatic. Not really used here. Alright, it's going to be Roland. Alright, Wendy's turn. So Wendy's stuck with this Acolyte right now, so we can't even play our Lone Wolf. So I think we'll just have to try and evade. Ugh, there's nothing I can really do. We can only play events off of our amulet, unfortunately. So I guess we'll just try and evade first. I have nothing I can really commit because I don't want to get rid of my Lone Wolf. So we are dodging at 4 to 3. Of course, we get a -4. We're just going to try again. We're going to evade. And we draw it again because I suck at drawing. And we'll try our last action. Not like it's going to do much. And that's going to be a 0, because it only counts monsters in play. So we do actually get to evade him. But we have no more actions left, so we can't even move, and he's just going to re-engage with us after he readies up. I should have maybe... Actually, he only does 1 damage. Realistically, I should have really just taken the attacks of opportunity, I think. Yeah, I think that was a mistake. Alrighty, well, let's see. He's gonna ready up. We are gonna flip over our cards for the upkeep. We get 1 resource each, not like it'll matter. Let's draw for Wendy. We get elusive, that would have been nice earlier. And we get emergency cash for Roland, which is helpful, but I think it's a little bit too late for that. Alright, Mythos phase. It's going to get the 5th Mythos, or 5th Doom on the agenda, so it's going to flip to Agenda 3A. This Doom also leaves. A dark presence approaches, and you are assaulted by invisible pressures that bring you to your knees. A terrible force threatens to invade your mind and soul. Your throat clenches and your eyes water as the sensation burns through you. In player order, you have to test a willpower 6 for each player. Each investigator who fails must search the collection for a random basic madness basic madness weakness and add it to his or her hand. Great. And then Agenda 3A. The world begins to shift and change as the ritual nears its conclusion. The air grows chilly and the entire forest is covered in a layer of rime. The trees bend unnaturally and their shadows lengthen into weird shapes. When this agenda advances, if the players are at Act 1, put the set-aside ritual in play and spawn the set-aside Ermidhoth there. If the investigators are at Act 2 or 3, discard all enemies at the ritual site and spawn the set-aside Ermidhoth there. Well, we are still in Act 1, unfortunately, but maybe we can potentially progress this before it advances. Yeah, not looking good. Alright, well, let's test our willpower 6 for Roland. Alright, Roland, you have 3. There's nothing really I can commit. I have like 0 willpower cards. That was probably a mistake, not putting that in my deck. And we get the skull, which is going to count as 0 because there's no monster enemies in play. Doesn't matter, it's going to be a fail, so we're going to have to get a madness. And then for Wendy, Wendy's at 4 to 6. And again, nothing to commit there. So we need the blue because we have Wendy's amulet in the play. It'll be an automatic success. That's a -4, so that's uber fail. So we're both getting weaknesses, but I don't think it's going to matter because I don't see us catching up in time, honestly. So I think I'm just gonna call it. I think I'm gonna grab the I would have grabbed the weaknesses from my collection, but I just don't want to go through that when I know that it's all for naught. Oof, this was a bad thing. This early cover up really screwed us because it essentially slowed down our clue gain. And then we just got overrun with a lot of enemies early on that we had to deal with. But the Acolyte spawning on Wendy was also really huge because she was our only really clue getter, and she was locked down for most of the time. So yeah, on our turn, we're just gonna go main path. I know that this Acolyte's engaged, so Wendy will take a damage. Roland's also gonna leave and resign as well on his turn. All the investigators are gonna resign. There's nothing we can do to stop them. You flee from the woods, leaving Arkham to its grisly fate. Which means we have to read Resolution 3. Yeah. If no resolution was reached, each investigator resigned or was defeated. Too frightened to face her fate, Lita flees into the night. She realizes that she failed, and Ummertorth's vengeance will pursue her wherever she goes. The creature's tendrils spread throughout the city of Arkham, searching for her. It lurks in the darkness of every corner, tugging at the seams of reality, but Lita is nowhere to be found, so the creature dwells in the shadows to this day, searching, killing. In your campaign log, record that Arkham succumbed to Ummertorth's terrible vengeance. Each surviving investigator is killed, but we ran away, so at least Roland and Wendy are still alive. And the investigators lose, unfortunately. It would have been at least different if we could have potentially found Lita, because I do know that you can sacrifice Lita to Ummertorth to at least cull the ritual. But that is going to, unfortunately, conclude our revised core box run of the Arkham Horror card game. Thank you so much for joining me for all the Let's Plays and stuff like that. Really do appreciate it. I think we're just going to move on, and we're going to make fresh decks. We're going to choose new characters, and we're going to start the Dunwich Legacy, I think. I do also have a couple of standalones, so maybe we'll also try that. I have the Blob who eats everything, or something like that, and the Excelsior, or Murder at Excelsior Hotel, which I think I'm going to at least play once with my friends first. I'm going to go into a blind with them, and then maybe we'll do a standalone run through of that. These decks did perform a lot better than the starter decks, though. I think we definitely got ruined a little bit, though, unfortunately. Because we didn't even get to the part where the other... Yeah, I don't think... Wait, when... Oh, is it the Act cards? Yeah, the Act cards are the ones who spawn the cultists that get away. We didn't even get to that. Oof. Yeah, we had really bad tests. The cover-up, I think, was the nail in the coffin early on. Wendy didn't draw so well. I think Wendy had some draws that just weren't super relevant. And we just didn't draw cards like Elusive when we needed to. And we just fell behind because the fact that all the enemies got buffed up before we were able to set up properly, I think. I mean, Roland was very well set up, I think, early on, but unfortunately, yeah, he got locked down, and he ended up at areas where there was no clues when he killed enemies and stuff like that, and it was just a mess. So Cthulhu wins today. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Definitely make sure to check out some of my other videos if you haven't. I do have a Final Girl Let's Play if you're into more solo board game content. And also, if you want to watch as well, you can check out just my thoughts on the Arkham Horror card game and why I'm so addicted to it. But until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.